Warning, the film being discussed is more violent and bloody than is normally discussed on this show. Efforts have been made to edit around this whenever possible, with two exceptions. One, if I think it's funny, and the other, if I'm too lazy to bother. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's kick off our look at the film.
America is an irradiated wasteland.
Doomer porn ahoy! In this optimistic future, there is an enormous walled city from Boston to Washington, D.C. called Mega City 1. As you can imagine, when you cram 800 million people inside a single steel and concrete box surrounded by irradiated desert, they got cranky. To keep this lawlessness in check, we go to the Hall of Justice. The laws are enforced by men and women called judges because they don't just track down those committing crimes, they mete out the punishment, in some cases lethally. Post-apocalyptic Mega City doesn't have a lot of room for nuanced civil rights. At the moment, our protagonist, Judge Dredd, is in pursuit of a trio of bad guys. Here's what the city needs, a way to experience the passage of time even slower. This guy does not appreciate Dredd harshing his high. Feel bad for him, but in this city, presuming pedestrians have the right-of-way is going to end like that every time. Well, now this has become vehicular manslaughter, so Dredd changes this from pursue to annihilate, shooting off the tires and flipping the van, ending this leg of the triathlon and moving on to the foot race. The film was shot in South Africa. You might recognize the guns as being the same as those used in District 9. That's a tell. Weird aside, but see, on account of apartheid, there was an arms embargo against South Africa. So they set up a way to produce their own knockoff versions, some with licenses and some without, and even though it's over, they still make them. So when you see guns that aren't quite right, like that Uzi that wasn't an Uzi earlier, you're probably looking at a film shot in South Africa. I'll be back later with another fun fact. The third leg of the triathlon, target shooting. When Dredd arrives, the one crook left has a hostage, so he offers the guy the chance for life without parole instead of the execution that he'll get for multiple homicides. The guy refuses this generous offer.
Hot shot.
A lot of time at the carnival using the water pistol to get it in the mouth so easily. Our buffalo wings are just that hot. Well, with that resolved, it's back to the Hall of Justice, where Dredd observes Cassandra. She was raised near the wall, where the radiation is, so both her parents died of cancer, and she then became a ward of the state. She was given a test to see if she was suitable for being a judge, but even though she failed the test, she was admitted anyway on the grounds that the radiation made her a mutant. Now, normally that's a bad thing, but rather than having fish skin or a third boob, she got mind powers out of it, which is useful enough to get special dispensation, especially when they're losing the war for control of Mega City 1. The only problem is that the test that they gave her when she was just a kid to see whether or not she had a future as a judge, yeah, the latest test said kind of the same problem.
Below a pass, it's marginal.
It's not marginal. She failed.
Well, if you want to be strict about it, which clearly is your preference, they want to give her one more chance, so they're sending her out with Dredd to see how she does.
Incorrect sentencing is an automatic fail. Disobeying a direct order from your assessment officer is an automatic fail.
Talking out of turn, that's a paddling. Looking out the window, that's a paddling.
Losing your primary weapon or having it taken from you is an automatic fail.
Mentioning anything from the last film is an automatic fail. With that out of the way, we cut to the villain, Mama, who is enjoying some of that special slow-mo drug. It's called slow-mo. Well, you know how it is. Work always calls when you're enjoying yourself. In this case, drug dealers encroaching on their turf. These guys were previously given a beating, but that apparently wasn't enough to persuade them. So, they'll be skinned alive and thrown over the balcony and hit with slow-mo so they can draw out those last moments as they plummet in agony towards their splatty end. You know, it's like the entire drug empire is being run by bad people or something. This is in a megablock named Peach Trees. Megablocks are the huge-ass buildings you were seeing on the cityscape. The apocalypse may have come, but we still need to support local construction efforts. The sheer number of crimes being reported in Megacity 1 means they can respond to only about 6%. So you have to try to really make them count. Cassandra is given the choice, and so picks the homicides at Peach Trees for her test. Homicide's bad, but Peach Tree sounds nice. It's a nice day. Why don't you go out and play with your friends? On the ledge. Peach Trees is one of the worst. It's got 75,000 people, of which about 3,000 actually have jobs. It's the shithole that other shitholes look down on. Cassandra says that she wants to try to make a difference in this job, which, in this place, the only way to really make a difference is probably to start a plague. And then things would be different, at least. The medic is already on the scene. Can't even ID one of them because of how fucked up he is. But there is enough to tell Dredd that these guys use slow-mo on the way down. Cassandra, it's her test after all, figures it's a punishment killing, sending a message, and the medic says, "Yeah, Mama, and I'll be happy to share some exposition, Judge." Mama used to be a sex worker until her pimp carved up her face. Well, she paid him back by, well, let's just say if they still sing the Star-Spangled Banner, he'll be able to hit that high note now. She took over his business, moved into Peach Trees, and starting from the top of the building, took over floor by floor until it's hers now. Well, time for the law to take it back, starting with the floor where the dead guys came from and finding out where they operate. Just, follow the quest marker. It'll be easy. When they show up, Dredd points out she seems to have forgotten her helmet, but Cassandra says that it's either a helmet or psychic powers, but not both. It's a balance thing. Well, Dredd blows the door, which is a whole new experience when you're high on slow-mo. All in all, watching explosions and bullets affecting the human body is really not something you want drawn out. Take it from me. Probably even worse for one of the guys high on the stuff as he makes the mistake of pulling his gun and gets shot through the face. Now, not in the face, through the face. In a zombie, that wouldn't do anything. On a human, it makes you look like a zombie. Backup is called in to take away the guilty and recycle the dead, but that's when Cassandra notes the memory of Kay skinning one of his victims, and Dredd decides to take him in for interrogation. Well, this gets noticed by Yellow Shirt here on the cameras, who knows how bad it is if one of Mama's lieutenants is brought in. Well, fortunately for the bad guys, and for those of us looking to be entertained, the guy who's supposed to be watching for trouble is sleeping soundly. Even more soundly now. They plug into the control room so that Yellow Shirt can call in pretending to be them and convince the authorities that there's a defense test planned for today. That way no one will come when the building starts acting funny. So just as they're about to leave, all the defense is locked down and the building is now sealed. Mama herself lets everyone know the score, to get the hell out of the halls and keep their heads down until this is finished. Even the medic locks the door and puts up the close sign. That poor bastard has to keep coming to work here when this is over, after all. Well, there's no way to get through this shielding to call for backup or for a giant can opener.